is better like that. Yeah. Ok. Bon. Allez. On y va. Je vais m'approcher un peu. Ah, tu...
You have to be technician.
Yeah, it's very expensive, the technical.
Okay. Stay right here, it's okay. Huh?
Okay. Alors, when and where are you born?
I was born in 1951 in Dayton, Ohio, in the United States of America.
Alors, which are you influence for the guitar player?
I have, many influences, Jean-Paul, on the guitar. But when I started, it was actually in the early 60s, and folk music was very popular.
Ah.
And so I liked first folk music and this kind of thing, learning simple folk songs. And then the Beatles came on television at the same time. And this all, but in folk music there was some blues, some kind of acoustic blues. And then the Beatles, I would look on the records and see, oh, that's a Chuck Berry song, and Bo Diddley, and the Stones, So I really got into R&B.
I saw Bo Diddley there 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still happening.
I have 45 minutes with him and on stage, and
fantastic.
It's very great. Alors, how did you grow up?
Yeah.
For the music in the school in the beginning?
Well, no school in the beginning. I took guitar lessons from a man who lived in my town, who was an old guy, And I just learned some chords, and I started to play in bands in high school. I lived in a small town. By then, I moved to near New York. My father got a job, but a small town 1 hour from New York City. And we played, we had a band that tried to play R&B, and Beatles songs and all this. And we played in dances. But we played every weekend from age maybe 13 all through high school. We played every weekend, and then I took guitar lessons from a very good jazz guitarist in my town. I was very lucky. I went to the music store where you bought the guitar, but they also gave guitar lessons there. And this guy, he loved jazz, and he turned me on to jazz. And before that, actually, like I said, I was into blues, B.B. King and all this. But my father bought me a record by Django Reinhardt.
Woo,
French
Django.
guitarist. So the very first jazz I ever really heard was Django when I was 12 years old.
Alors, for my report, how did you meet Miles Davis?
Okay, this is a good story. The first time I met Miles, I was playing in a club with Dave Liebman, the saxophonist who used to play with Miles. And this was when Miles was, had retired. He wasn't playing in the late 70s, early 80s. He wouldn't play, Okay. So we're playing in a club in New York City called 7th Avenue South, and Miles came in the club, and he heard that this guy, Dave Liebman, that he played with, was playing. And we saw him when we were playing. We could see him come up the stairs because he had an entourage with him, And so after our set, Dave Liebman said, "Here, come, I want to introduce you to Miles." And Miles said, "Yeah, you sound good." And I said, "Oh, Miles, that's the greatest compliment I've ever had. Thank you so much." And he said, "Shut up." He told me to shut up. And then, maybe 2 years later or something, he was looking for another guitar player, and he called me. But I don't know if he remembered me from that time or not. I don't know.
Alors, your best memory with him on stage?
Well, we had so many good memories,
Montreux?
Montreux was great. You can see this one on video.
And do you remember aussi the show to Paris with him?
We played in Paris some great shows. I remember one, Place de Concorde?
Place de la Concorde.
I remember this one maybe. And we played a lot of great shows in Paris because Paris was special for Miles, I think.
Yeah, because the complicity with Juliette Greco and the great story.
And I think he loved the French people, you know, and we had some great shows. I remember, especially at Place de la Concorde, I thought it was really good, and Kenny Clark came backstage afterwards, who was living in Paris, and they were hanging out, and that was, as a jazz fan, that was very exciting to see two of the fathers of the music hanging out, you know, and I remember one time also in Orly, in the airport, Dizzy and Miles were both there, and they had a meeting, and it was great. It was really history, you know.
Alors, me, I know Felton Lee Cruz.
Yeah, sure.
Long time ago. Alors, do you remember the studio, the recording together for the records to Mice?
For the...
Is there the records, the CD or the record?
What's the name?
What's the name? That is a good question. You play with Mice on the recording, and I don't know. I remember. And,
but I played on many of Miles' recordings. Well, 3 albums. CDs,
yeah, three albums. The best memories recording. You prefer?
Well, you know,
it's different.
There were so many. We made a CD called Decoy, and that I thought was really good. And there's some stuff in the can that we never came out that I thought was really good. And I don't know, it was crazy when you worked with Miles, because you didn't know if you were making a new record or something, because many times he would just go in the studio for CBS, for Columbia Records, and you would just go in and play that day, and it would never... You didn't know if it was going to be on a CD or not, you know. So it was almost part of your job. Would be every few months you went in the studio with Miles. But I remember.
He was very hard on studio.
Yeah, sometimes in a bad mood, but sometimes great. And I remember the Decoy sessions as being really good, and also when he played Human Nature, the Michael Jackson tune.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Alors, I do also the report to Jimi Hendrix. Just like you love music, what do you think about Jimmy?
I love Jimmy.
Do you saw?
I saw the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Yeah.
At Hunter College in New York City. When was that? 68, something like that. And I told you, a blues man. You know, I loved B.B. King and everything, and I loved Hendrix because I had heard "Are You Experienced" and "Axis Bold as Love." This was this period. Yeah. And I said, oh, this is great, you know, the kind of a new blues, you know, I was into it. And I went to see Hendrix, and it blew my mind. He played so great, and he was so physical with the guitar, and he was so loose that I gave up blues. I said, maybe I could play jazz, because maybe jazz is more to my temperament. But to play like Hendrix is so great at blues, nobody could ever do that.
Yeah.
But then I came back later, and now I play some blues now. But, you know, man, he was...
He's incredible.
He was really special.
He's very special.
Yeah.
He's very great guitar player.
Yeah,
for the evolution, because I speaking with Steve Vai in the influence for him, and it's incredible. It's about the complicity and the body and the clothes.
Sure. Everything. But you know, I mean, with Hendrix too, it's hard to really. I mean, because so many people copied him after him. I mean, before him there was Jeff Beck and Clapton. You know, they were using these sounds great, but then Hendrix did it better than anybody ever did it. And then so many people copied him that you hear the licks and they sound like cliches, but you got to remember that Hendrix invented so many of these things. And I just remember him being so creative. And then I saw also just recently the Isle of Wight video, right? Yeah. And I think it was not his greatest gig, you know. He was in a bad mood on this gig, you know. But still, he's really like a jazz man, you know, really going for something special, you know. He's not content. He wants to make some special thing happen that night, you know, with his guitar. And this is very jazz.
He's not dead. maybe the CD ou the records with smiles, hein, because c'était... Maybe.
I wish.
Ça aurait été the great story. Alors, for the solo carrière, moi I know Amber Jam Records, et vers the new CD. Alors, the new CD, c'est the tribute to Ray Charles.
Oui.
Why?
Well, because, you know, I started with Ray Charles music. When I first heard, before I played guitar, his hits came on the radio, Georgia, and Hit the Road Jack, and Crying Time, and Let's Go Get Stoned.
Yeah.
These were huge hits on the radio, and I loved this man, you know, and I saw him on television. He was very famous. And it taught me so much about music. It made me want to play R&B, you know, black music.
Yeah.
And there was a swing to his feel, I realized afterwards, that led me to jazz, you know. But so anyway, I wanted to make a recording of all his songs, and you can do anything with them because it's blues, you know, and you can take the music and approach it so many different ways.
It's different, but it's very good because you love the blues, and it's very cool. You have the musician Chris Barber.
Oh yeah, Chris Barber.
Chris play tonight with you?
No. Yeah. Oh, Chris Potter.
Ouais, Potter.
Chris Barber from England.
No, Potter. Sorry.
Chris Barber was the old guy who played with the blues.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. Yeah. No, tonight Chris Potter. Yeah, he's a beautiful saxophonist, young guy from the States. That's okay. Chris Potter is a fantastic saxophonist. He plays tonight with me, and he's one of the new talents in jazz, you know, that makes me want to practice. Every day makes me have to, wow, I got to get good. You know?
And Stewart and
Bill Stewart, the great Bill
drums.
Stewart,
And the
bassist is Dennis Irwin, who played with me for many years.
Yeah.
Acoustic bass,
Okay, so thank you, John. Thank you for everything. And we stay in the contact together on the email. Because maybe I do the report for the television.
Fantastic.
I send you the message.
Yeah, that would be great, Jean-Paul, and it's always great